I think people get on a treadmill of trying to become bigger, 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 and the danger of that is if you buy bigger equipment, you buy a bigger space, you are going into debt, and you have to pay off that debt by making more beer, and that's when it stops being something you do for fun, and when it starts to become something that feels like a job, and the stress of you go from, say we're using all our own financing to get everything up and running at this point. Whether we'll have quite enough to finish to get to opening is a bit of a question mark, but we're deliberately trying to keep a debt load as low as possible. So again, that we're not forced to work harder to pay off a debt. We're we work harder because we want to, not because we have to. And I think you get into a trap. And I just did a tour of a couple different breweries up island, and they were talking about how they wanted to expand, get more tanks, get more this, get more that, because they couldn't keep up with demand. And in my mind, it's like, well, you're doing a bit of a wholesale distribution model. So you're selling beer for less,
Yeah.
but you have to make more of it to sell it to get, incremental increase in your actual income versus not buying those tanks, not spending that money, not going into debt, and then really trying to create a craft, an experience when people come to the brewery. And then, it gets to the point, treat it a bit more like a winery as opposed
Yeah.
to a production brewery. And, if it gets to the point where, okay, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be open from, noon till 6. I'll just start, and I've only got 15 spaces in my tasting room. Just start doing, curated beer tastings, and have it sold as a ticketed price.
Yeah.
You buy your ticket, you get the tour of the property, and you get a tasting flight, and you get, at the end of it, you get a growler full of beer. That's all included in your ticket price. And then if you want to be here, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I think that model is more interesting to me than sitting at a canning line for 6 or 8 hours, just running more beer through a canning machine, because that's what you have to do to meet the nut that you've sort
Yeah.
of set for yourself. Like, I would rather do less. I would rather keep it smaller and cater to a clientele that could pay a little bit more for the experience. And people they're chasing experiences as much as they're chasing a can of beer or a bottle of beer or
Yeah.
a pint of beer.
No, I
So
think